This is Plauen in eastern Germany and the office of the political party Dritte Weg, or Third Path. They sell second-hand clothing here for Germans only. The party casts itself as being a party of the people, the German people. The party also shares information here on its program. It wants to see the German borders shift back to where they were before the Second World War and cut right through the middle of Poland. They say German women should have more children and immigration should be stopped.
My
ideal Germany is a place where politicians have the final say, and they should always act in the interests of Germans. We support closing the borders, and we believe this foreign infiltration cannot continue.
Again and again, the Third Path has marched through Plauen, most recently at the beginning of May. Their marches are reminiscent of Hitler's Third Reich, the torches, flags, and drums. The neo-Nazi party has polarized the people of Plauen.
They were allowed to carry torches, to wear uniforms. It was creepy. I find it a bit frightening.
Some of their ideas you can't fault.
It's horrible that they've set up base here, and even worse, that people indulge them.
Whether groups are allowed to demonstrate here is up to the local district office. If demonstrators wear uniforms, or if there is the threat of violence, then a rally can be banned. But so far, authorities haven't acted. Local authorities have often been accused of not using the full extent of the law against far-right groups. Many say they downplay the threat they pose or turn a blind eye. The marches are repeatedly allowed.
It's about rights and the rule of law. I think it's important the playing field, both legally and judicially, is extended as far as possible, though sometimes I would like to see more courage from local authorities.
Political scientist Hajo Funke says just restricting the neo-Nazi demonstrations is not enough. He is calling for a complete ban on the party.
Even though they are a small group, I think they need to be banned, because their ideology and their orientation is fundamentally the same as National Socialism.
But that's still far off, because it's difficult to do so under German law. So the Third Path Party is running in next week's European elections.
Let me now draw in our political correspondent, Rupert Wiedewald, who joins me in the studio. Welcome, Rupert. Listening to that report, you feel this party should be unconstitutional. How active are moves to ban this party?
Well, there are reasonable voices, as we just heard, who say we need to ban this party. And this party is clearly unconstitutional. It clearly says we want to overthrow this political system. But we have seen two attempts in the recent past to ban extremist, right-wing extremist parties here in Germany. And both times the Constitutional Court said, well, it's not enough that the party is clearly unconstitutional. It also has to have the power to really overthrow the system. It has to be big enough. And this party here we're talking about is a micro-party. I mean, they've got very few members. It's not likely that they're going to gain any sort of electoral success at the next elections, for instance, at the European elections. So the chances are very high that another attempt to ban a party like this would fail.
So it is a micro-party, but how much of support does it have in terms of its ideology?
Well, what we have to see is that this party very likely is not going to have any success at any elections in the near future, not at the European elections, not at the regional elections, which are coming up within the next months. But that's not the idea of this party. The idea of this party is to have a party as a protectional shell in the end, because if you are a political party in Germany, you have protection from the Constitution, and you can do very much, as we have already seen. And these groups, these neo-Nazi groups, know that very good, and they want to have this party as a shell to pursue their ideas in public, and that's the actual idea of being a party for them.
Now, there are also some reports that this party, a neo-Nazi party, as you called it, has links with the far-right AfD party, which is the main opposition in Germany. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, we have to be very clear at first that the AfD always denies that they have any links to right-wing extremists whatsoever. And there even is a resolution within the party that says, if you have been a member of a right-wing extremist group in Germany in the past. You can't be a member of the AfD party. But there are some personal links, and that have become evident just last year, for instance, in Chemnitz, where we have seen racist riots last year, where AfD leaders walked together with these third path party members.
Right, Rupert Vitaval from our political desk. Thank you very much for all that, your assessment on this issue.
You're welcome.